You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. It is Election Eve. Yes, that's right. It is Election Eve. Tomorrow, November 5th, the election will be underway. Now, I don't know actually if we will know a winner exactly that day. But as far as how we're going to cover the election, I don't know if I have the energy to do a live coverage, because God knows how that's going to end up playing out. And I don't plan on staying up too late. However, if you want to join on the Discord, we can post updates as it happens. We can stream like CNN coverage or C-SPAN coverage of how it's going, and I can just let it play until I'm tired and go to bed. You can watch it if you want. There's also other lefty live streamers that I'm sure are going to be covering. I'm sure they're going to be covering the election as well. David said he might go live for a bit. There you go. The Rational National, the Majority Report, to name a couple. I'm sure they're going to do some kind of live coverage as well. So if you want to join them, you can. But as far as we as a community, we will most likely not do a live stream. I don't think I can handle it. In fact, I might even give myself the day off tomorrow. I might even give myself the day off tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. And we'll be posting stuff live on the Discord, and when there is a winner, that's called for the race, I will just at everybody and notify everybody. Yellow King, how's it going? Heat, hello, Mr. Clean Shave. Yeah, indeed. See, that's how you know. That's how you know Mrs. Truth is back, right? That's a good call. I'm doing half day of school. Yeah, I'm feeling I'm feeling a bit. I don't want to say sick just yet. It could be a small cold. We'll see. Tomorrow's gonna be rough. Yeah. I don't have that kind of energy, folks. Okay. I don't have that kind of energy, especially knowing just how tense things are. Just knowing how tense things are and how people tend to be. Yeah. Sick of politics. Indeed. All right, folks. Indeed. Before we get started, folks, thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of supporting the channel. Consider checking out the Discord. Okay, as I was mentioning earlier, that will be I'll just bump the mic. That will constitute our electoral coverage. Okay, I'll just be posting on Discord all day tomorrow. That's what I'm going to be doing, or all evening tomorrow as we get the results. And in the next, I'm sure we're going to have a winner in the next day or two, for sure. And I will just post that as well. But that's what I'm going to be doing. Make sure that if you're on the YouTube, keep liking the stream. I see you. Thank you. Thank you for liking the stream. I appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel, consider checking out the merch store. Pretty cool merch store. And hitting that exclamation mark tip can tip your streamer directly. All right, folks, let's get through this. Let's get through this before tomorrow, yeah? That beanie is less than $20. Good deal. Yeah, it is. It's 18 bucks. 18 bucks plus shipping. I tried to make it as cheap as possible. I tried to make it as cheap as possible, as cheap as it possibly could be. Oh, that reminds me, actually. I have to make a command for this, but I'm also on Substack. I have made a Substack where I want to put just like my thoughts and just kind of blog. If you want to check it out, I'm gonna make a command for this, but if you want to check it out, that's the Substack over here. It's free. I'm gonna keep it free. But do spread the word. The next article, or not really article, but I guess blog or post, it's probably going to come out on Friday or Saturday. That's going to be the routine. If you want to check it out, this is how it looks like. Looks like this. Don't like that it opens up a new window every time I click on something, but that's okay. Anywho, follow me on Substack, and you can get my thoughts, my weekly thoughts on the politics and state of affairs of things. I will do one of these at least once a week, and it will come out usually on Friday. Or Saturday. The next Substack that's going to come out is going to be the post-election. So, yeah. It's already under works, folks. Let's get started. More of a deep dive rather than covering the news. Yeah, it's kind of like just, you know, if there's like something that that I want to discuss and put my thoughts down, because like doing a live stream is one thing, right? Like doing a live stream is one thing, but I don't really like unless I decide to focus. I don't really deep dive on like each individual things that I go through. Like I just don't. There's just no way. There's just no way I will be able to do that. But there may be something that I find interesting that I can take the time and put more cohesive thoughts together than I would be able to in a live environment. Because while I'm doing the live stream, I'm interacting with you guys and paying attention to the stream and making sure that it's running and not crashing and all that. A lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes. Quasi-spec, all the new tabs are how you make the stack and Substack. I see. Welcome. Hopefully we all sleep well tonight. Gonna be crazy tomorrow. Indeed, the Ponder Monkey. Welcome. I think your first post is really good. Thank you. And I hope to be able to do that consistently. And again, it's going to be mostly current, something that's relative to like current events, more or less. Or if I just want to take a evergreen topic and deep dive into something, like maybe I'll pick an ideology and go into it. If I find that it's something worth making a post about. We're gonna need more than whiskey, let me tell you. We're gonna need more than whiskey, let me tell you. I just got re-up. Nice. May do a few shrooms. Whew, that's a scary proposition. Given the context, right? Not a lot, just 1 or 2 grams. I don't know, like the dosages. If you know what you're doing, Godspeed. Yep. Alright, let's get started, folks.
If I don't win this thing after all this talk, I'm in trouble. You please go and vote.
Please clap.
That right there, in my
I topped out at 18 grams. Wow.
opinion, is evidence that Donald Trump is perhaps for the first time ever finally coming to grips with the reality that he might not win this election. And I've got to say, seeing him squirm is oh so delicious, because how terrified have we all been about the prospect of him becoming president again over the course of the last couple of years? How worried have we been? How many times has he kept us on pins and needles because of his erratic behavior? So it's nice to see him finally get a taste of his own medicine. But I've got to say, he's worried for very, very good reason, because I think that he's feeling what we're all feeling currently. And that is the palpable vibe shift, especially after the Des Moines Register published that new Seltzer poll, which we will get to. But before that was even published, we had this report from Axios where they talk about how Donald Trump is basically crippled with anxiety because of this election. Quote, Trump's...
Yeah, good for him. I don't care. I'm sorry if I can't, like, spare some sympathy here, but yeah, he's totally losing it.
anxiety is evident in his late night and early morning calls to aides, in which he peppers them with questions on how things are going and whether they think he'll win. So that right there is a sign that he is absolutely worried, and just the prospect of him shitting himself, worried about this election, thinking that if he doesn't win, he's going to go to jail, it makes me so happy.
It does. It does make me happy too. If you want to know, like, why the chances of him losing, like, just to be clear, like, objectively, like, as far as the data goes, objectively, this is a very close race. But I will say that I think I think Harris has the edge. But that's not to say that Donald Trump could win. But if he loses, I'm gonna probably play this clip on repeat until I get tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of positive energy that America is all about. Yeah. USA, 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 USA. Why?
That right there. That right there. If he loses, I'm gonna probably play this clip ad nauseum. Yeah, the Iowa polls are looking pretty solid for Harris, and it's a good poll too. It's not just some like rinky-dinky poll. I think the race is going to be incredibly close, and I suspect that Harris is going to win. USA. Hooah!
A smile on my face. And I have a dead heart, but if it makes me smile, you know it's beautiful. Now, we know that these reports are correct because he is behaving in a way that somebody who is nervous would behave. I mean, just think about when we have anxiety ourselves. Me personally, I get very fidgety. I say things that are stupid. It's really difficult to collect my thoughts. And Donald Trump's behavior is indicative of somebody who is not thinking straight. Not that he ever thinks straight because he's Donald Trump, but more so than usual. For example, at a rally, he decided to... I don't even know how to describe this. Let me just show it to you.
Are you looking to establish your business?
He had his Jeb Bush moment.
I don't even know how to describe this. Let me just show it to you.
Jesus Christ. Michael Hassner, welcome. Oh, man.
Folks, that's where we're at. The potential president of the United States is pretending to jerk off and suck a dick on stage to a crowd of people. And that guy's face, just in the crowd, as he was watching this happen, you know that he was starting to question his decisions in life. Probably not, but I mean, maybe. I'd like to think. At least he was a little bit uncomfortable, which you should be uncomfortable because of all the shit that Donald Trump says, the fascism, the mass deportations, the threats of violence against the enemies within, I think that him pretending to suck a dick is the least offensive thing that he could do at a rally. Nonetheless, it's still pretty out of character for Donald Trump, which at least to me is an indication that he's shitting himself. Now, that Politico report was published, I believe, before the Des Moines Register published their Seltzer poll. And that poll has sent shockwaves through Washington, D.C. and the entire country because what that shows is massive. And listen, you all know I don't like to do predictions. I like to talk about probabilities. If X condition is met, then there is a probability of 50% that this might happen. That's the way that I like to deal. But this poll, let me just say, as anxious as I am about this election, it made me feel a little bit of hopium. The Des Moines Register reports Harris leads Trump 47-44 in the red state of...
Things I never wanted to see. He's by. I haven't seen what I picture as the normal way that Trump acts word, which is more like someone that is desperately trying to get money together before they start losing fingers to a loan shark. He's just kind of unraveling right now. That's a pretty good description, actually. I like that. It's like as if, somebody... is worried and desperately trying to get money to a loan shark. That's a pretty good freaking description. Microphone sexual. Tiger Girl 420, thank you for the follow. Welcome.
of Iowa. Quote, the poll shows that women, particularly those who are older or who are politically independent, are driving the late shift towards Harris. Age and gender are the two most dynamic factors that are explaining these numbers, Selzer said. So let's pause and back up for a moment. Republicans were already getting a little bit doomer because they're seeing the same numbers that we're seeing. They're seeing the massive amount of
Desperately trying to stay out of jail. Poor Arnold Palmer.
women early voting compared to men. There is a gender gap, and they are shitting themselves because of that. But now this poll shows that Harris is leading in Iowa. Now, does this mean that she's going to win Iowa? I really don't know. But this poll is so significant because Seltzer is basically the best that you can get when it comes to polls. So what they're finding here is that women are driving this massive surge towards Kamala Harris. And if this holds in Iowa, even if it's not enough to get her over the finish line there, the implications are this could help her in other states. And if this holds, then we'll just say we'll probably find out the results on Tuesday night. That's the kind of environment we may be heading into on election day. But let me just give you the record of Seltzer and why so many people trust her. Matthew Klein reports on Twitter, in 2022, they found that Republicans were plus 12. The actual result was identical. Republicans were plus 12. In 2020, for the presidential race, they found that Republicans were plus 7. The actual result was plus 8. These are findings from Iowa, by the way. Now, in 2020, in the Senate, they found that the Republican was plus 4 and the Republican was plus 7. So a little off there. 2018 governor race, plus 2, plus 3 for the Republican. 2016 president, plus 7, plus 9 in actuality. 2014 Senate, plus 7, plus 8 in actuality. 2012 president, D plus 5, D plus 6 in actuality. In other words, as far as polls go, I don't think you get better than this. There's a reason why we're not seeing that many Republicans go out of their way to deny the results of this poll, because it's a Seltzer poll. So they're seeing this, and rather than denying it, they probably are just dealing.
Yeah, they're just not going to talk about it, really. That's basically the play here.
With that sinking feeling that they have. But somebody who is denying this is Donald Trump. So he responded to this poll at a rally, and he predictably chose to go full authoritarian and called this a form of voter suppression. Let's watch.
And we even have the polls up, but I think it's much more than the polls. No, the polls, I'm telling you, you can make those suckers sing. You get the right pollster, you can do, and you really do inflict damage, you know, when you do like this person from Iowa.
This person from Iowa, have you heard of Alka-Seltzer? Yeah? Alka-Seltzer? Yeah, it's unbelievable. She has me at plus, she has Kamala, lying Kamala at plus 1. Can you believe it? Okay? This is a form of election interference. Okay?
Today, the election essentially is really, we're talking Turkey, comes out with a poll different from every other poll because it wasn't even in question. It's really the opposite way. I'm way up. If you look at 3-4 months ago, Dan, I was losing states that now are walks, you know, they're now walks. And I think you're going to have that here. It's called suppression. They suppress. And it actually should be illegal because it's, in many ways, it's worse than the written word, which these guys do quite well, actually.
He's sounding pretty low energy. Yeah, this dude's freaking out. When he starts rounding off numbers, my brain goes, we're ready to vote and get this tomorrow and get this done. Nice.
Yeah, that right there is as close as a confirmation you're going to get from Donald Trump that he knows that this poll is actually very accurate. Now, keep in mind that Axios article was published before we got the results from the Seltzer poll. And now there are reports about this memo that's going on in the Trump campaign that they are in panic mode. And they should be. It's not a foregone conclusion that this is going to be indicative of the final result, but is it a good sign? Yeah, it's a really good sign. And the vibes have changed once again. And I see a lot of people who aren't feeling as doom and gloom as I would have thought, even though the polls are still showing that it's close. But there was always this possibility that the polls were undercounting Kamala Harris or underestimating Kamala Harris. And we're getting more and more signs that that does indeed appear to be the case, although we won't.
Maybe. Watch him lose tomorrow and immediately start a campaign for 2028 to stay out of jail. Who's winning? No one's winning. Man. No, seriously, I would say that I'd give the edge to Harris. But the race is pretty 50-50. Kamala's on the path to a landslide. I don't know about landslide. You don't think it's 50-50? I think she can win. Not gonna lie, I think she might win. But I don't know if I would call it a landslide. Maybe she will. I don't know. That's quite possible, but I just don't know. Americans in the chat, move your butt and go vote.
Don't know for sure until we see the results, but the signs are there, and I liked seeing that. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that poll, game changer.
If she wins Iowa, the wins 300 electoral votes and 99% of maps. Whew. I mean, if that happens, that's a blowout. That's a blowout. Why are U.S. elections so close? Can a mathematician explain it to me? Yeah, I don't know if it's a mathematician problem, to be fair. I already voted. Me too. I am hopeful. I'm in Michigan, and I'm not sure who will win here. It's pretty close. You basically can't win Iowa without sweeping a 6-state swing state.
Completely changed the vibes. My mood is completely different now. Seeing that makes me feel a little bit more confident, albeit cautiously so. So hopefully you enjoy the good news, and hopefully you like to see Donald Trump squirm and shit his pants, because again, this is such an evil person. And not to mention, all of this is happening as we get like 30 different October surprises in November. The Epstein tapes were just released. We get audio from Michael Wolff where Jeffrey Epstein talks about how he's been a friend with Donald Trump for years, his closest friend, and he can describe the Trump White House, meaning Trump was lying about his association with Epstein and always has been. I've got to...
Yeah, I mean, like, to the surprise of nobody, right? The Rito Eucharist. I kind of feel that way, but I mean, I see what the other chatter was saying. Undone. Like I see what they're saying. I just kind of feel like that. I kind of feel your point of view. That the apathy is certainly an issue. As an non-American, I must admit, Trump was a funny episode. We all get a laugh, but Trump 2 sounds scary. I don't know. Personally, I didn't find it like funny. But it's hard to make anyone care about Trump's crimes on both sides. Probably because it's been so normalized, right? Probably because it's been so normalized. The Des Moines Registrar is the best pollster in the country. The energy is exceeding 2008. I mean, if that's true, then yeah, you might be freaking right. It might be a blowout. We'll just have to see what the results end up being.
Say, aside from the fear that we're seeing from Republicans, I'm hearing something. Do you hear that? That's the deafening silence from conservatives who purport to care about all of these pedophiles, right? They accuse Democrats, the QAnon crowd, of being pedophiles and they're trafficking children. And then we get evidence that has Trump dead to rights, aside from the photographic evidence and everything else we know, and the confessions that, yeah, he's Epstein's longtime associate and they're much more closer than he let on. And these people aren't saying shit. Okay, it's not like we're surprised by their hypocrisy and double standards, but nonetheless, it's out there and it's a lot more difficult for them to deny it. So, yeah. So in conclusion, with how crazy things have been, I genuinely would not be surprised if even more things changed before Tuesday. That's how wild this election has been. But I just wanted to drop you some good news because, look, when you get good news in politics, you celebrate it because we don't get that often, especially when we have Donald Trump running for president for the third fucking time. But I hope to God Kamala wins. And if she wins, I hope to God that this is the end of the Trump era once and for all. Just end it already. We're sick of it. I don't want to hear from this man. I don't want to see.
I hope so. Like, I guess that's like the one silver lining, right? Because if he loses, that's it. It's GG, right? Now, like, whether or not what that means about, like, what that means for the MAGA movement will yet to be seen. But like, if that's the end of this guy, this guy's political career, like, I'm all for it. That alone is enough motivation for me. Dorito Eucharist, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. This year, 4.3 million voters have voted in PA before Election Day. Last year, 5.5 million voted in total. I mean, maybe. We'll still have to deal with the attempts to steal the election after the election, but then it'll be over. Elon and Vance and Thiel are not going to let go of that MAGA movement. Yeah, but like without Trump, it kind of like, it's not the same. Does that make sense? Like, will there be other people that are going to try to keep it going and maybe even use Trump as an avatar? Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know like how that's going to end up playing out once the actual dear leader is like done, right? We have to win the election and beat the Scrotus, then we can celebrate. I mean, if that's true, if the turnout is higher than 2020, that's a good sign.
His fucking face. I hope this is the end of the Trump era.
Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a
click
favor.
the join button on your
It's like Scientology without Ron Hubbard, not the same. I hope you'll flush the bozo down the toilet, but indeed you'll still have to deal with all the fascists that are left. Yeah, I mean, that's not going away. The fascists that are left over aren't going away. It's just like, it's just not the same without the dear leader heading the circus. You know what I mean? Like, of course there's still going to be fascists, and of course we're still going to have to contend. We're going to have to contend with fascism, but it's not going to be the same. It's just not. Yeah, but yeah, if I were trying to convince people to vote for Harris, I'd probably be pushing not having to hear about Trump anymore as often as bodily autonomy for women. The thing is, fascists need a psychopathic, rich, and powerful leader. Yeah, among others, yes. It buys you 2 decades at least. Yeah, no doubt about it. Those guys are around and those guys will always be around. But, like, how often do they coalesce around a cult personality like Trump, right? Because, like, that's what gave it the umph, right? That's what gave the fascist MAGA movement, America First movement that currently exists. That's what gave it the umph, right? That would be plain old fascism without the special sauce that Trump brings. And here comes Elon.
Did we have of Charlie Kirk? Speaking of, he had a clip I put in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, 10 here. Okay, let's really quickly do this.
That would be so satisfying if he goes to jail. But I don't see it happening. I don't know.
So we played a video of Jesse Waters being outraged about this Democrat campaign ad that says you can keep your vote secret from your husbands. We played Newt Gingrich and Sean Hannity outraged about that very ad as well. But Charlie Kirk is upset too. Here's what he has to say about that disgusting advertisement that Julia Roberts I guess, narrated. It's from a left-wing Christian group that's anti-Trump, and they were basically, it indicates it's a woman coded as MAGA, her husband coded as MAGA, going into the voting booth, giving another woman a wink, and making it clear that they voted for Kamala Harris secretly, which I think might actually be a real dynamic in this race. So here's Charlie Kirk, very upset.
Want to keep those cavities away. Yeah. Oh, stock up on fluoride.
That Democrats would be encouraging women to be disobedient.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating, where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands, and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling. And she needs people to basically,
Just to be clear, like, undermining your husband is voting against Trump.
Kyle, a lifelong Republican. Trump calls Kamala Harris a socialist, but his budget would explode the deficit. Harris has a plan to help people like me without spiking the deficit. I'm voting for Harris in November. She's the right choice.
Why would this guy travel to get permanent dental implants?
Instead of placing you in temporary teeth,
you get your permanent teeth in 24 hours. After nearly 10 years of combined research.
So undermine their husbands.
Yeah, voting her best interest. Not to mention undermining their daughter's rights. Yeah.
Undermine their husbands. The greatest crime in the history.
Hey, someone stole my username. Welcome, welcome.
Of humanity, apparently. Does he have anything to say about the fact that men, like, does he have any thoughts about if women who are voting contrary to their husbands, like, if women have asked their husband to vote a different way? Has that ever, like, crossed any of these guys' minds that maybe it's the man that's being disobedient? Maybe one of these women has said, hey, Donald Trump has been found liable for sexual battery. Donald Trump has been convicted of a felony and has dozens of charges against him. Donald Trump incited an insurrection and deployed the fake elector scheme to try to overturn the democratic results of an election. Hey, husband, my reproductive rights, or maybe our daughter.
Remember that miscarriage I had? You'd make that much more complicated.
Right. Hey, can you please maybe vote?
Time to sleep. Have a nice day or what? So, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Can you believe that the Harris campaign wants to do this hardworking fake man wrong by advocating his fake wife to have the gallon to not be his property? This is why I wrote my own vetting vows. I'm not obeying anyone.
Vote for somebody differently. And maybe the husband says, okay, you're right. And he goes in the voting booth and votes for Donald Trump instead. Would that be this disobeying, this undermining of the husband, of the wife's authority? And
no, man, that's not a thing. Okay. In the way, like, these people think, no, that's not a thing. They think that they are the ultimate authority, right? As Heat mentioned, these people believe that, like, their wives are basically their property. Because that's what their religion dictates. Their wives are their property. Their children are their property. Even if they don't explicitly say that and explicitly believe that, like, that's what they're kind of being primed that's what they're being primed to think in that way. And their children, yes. That's how they're being primed to think. So yeah, a woman voting against the man's interest, question mark? It is seen as like a slight against him. I wish you all the guys the best, a quiet election, and may the sane people win.
In that instance, like, why is it only going one way? Is it just because of this ad? Because I'm pretty sure if they had some hypothetical, the Republicans did, of some shrieking harpy wife saying, "You gotta vote blue. I love trans people," or whatever, however they'd phrase it, right? They would not be having that same reaction. They'd be saying, well, the woman is hysterical. She doesn't know what's good for her. This is why. The man is always right. Because that's exactly how it works. At the end of the day, this whole freak out
I love elections.
Is the fact that Democrats are advocating in an advertisement for women to have agency and for them not to be completely controlled by their husband in the year 2024. And it fits very nicely with some of Charlie Kirk's
I love trans people.
colleagues.
Same. Some elections are more fun than others. Yeah.
Whining about no-fault divorce. It's all about control. Is this clear to people at this point? I hope so. All right, guys, no more time for calls, and we haven't heard from Sam, so I guess we'll have to wait on Monday for a debrief about Tim Pool.
I mentioned that thing about the Hubert Humphrey. This is from a book. I got the citation here in a second, but this is about a renting out of a Masonic lodge in 1938. So a while ago. Sorry, I'm trying to say. For this occasion, it had been rented out for a meeting of patriotic Christian citizens who were prepared to take united action against the alien forces that are seeking to undermine our constitutional government, take away our right to free speech, and deprive us of liberty. As the host,
let me guess. It's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory.
Put in a formal letter of invitation. Knowingly or not, these upstanding people were assembling for a rally sponsored by a homegrown fascist group called the Silver Legion of America, more commonly known by its trademark apparel as the Silver Shirts. Very deliberately aping the brown shirts, Adolf Hitler's militia, the Legion's uniform featured a large scarlet L over the heart, standing for love, loyalty, and liberation. Two other aspects of the Legion's platform, while failing to perpetuate that alliteration, called for returning American blacks to slavery and disenfranchising, segregating, and finally sterilizing American Jews. But free speech. That book I mentioned was Samuel G. Freedom's Into the Bright Sunshine. And that was about the best thing Humphrey did, which is, people remember him as the failure of Vietnam to make LBJ change.
Watch that interview with Sam and Tim. Tim was rather respectful.
But was to say we need to come out of the shadow of states' rights and into the world of human rights. Eventually that led to, it was a big part of the fall of Jim Crow.
Atanash from New York has this, and this is important for me because this is my...
I like elections because all my favorite streamers are on more than usual.
Representative, and for anybody in New York 10 or 9. Hi, for folks living in New York's
well, just add me to the list, okay?
10th or 9th district, we have a write-in campaign against Dan Goldman and Yvette Clarke. You can color the bubble write-in and put in Hind Rajab. We want to send a clear message that we do not support either congressman who are complicit in the genocide of Gaza. From New York 10 neighbors. Yes, New York 10, this is a good thing for me to know because obviously Dan Goldman's not at risk of losing his seat, but he had nobody running against him in the primary campaign, and there was one person who was just protest vote for Gaza, and I voted for that person in the primary, and they did surprisingly okay. Dan Goldman can't ride the I was the Trump lawyer guy forever. He's way too conservative for the district that he represents. I mean, people may remember that race with Yulee New and the vote splitting that Mondaire Jones engaged in, right? So, or was that, what did Mondaire run? No, did he run? Or
I think it wasn't Goldman Uline.
Their background is surprisingly similar to yours because it is the same background. It's the same background. It's they had it first. Just to be clear, I'm copying them. I'm copying them. I got the same IKEA. I got the same IKEA panels.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Goldman Uline, but there was another. I think Mondaire did run in that. God, my memory is so bad. But there was another leftist candidate that split that vote. Bradley, do you remember that? I'll check it. Okay. Abnormal
Thank you for the follow. Upstate New York is cooked. Living here is, yeah, I can imagine, Shayna.
Gay says abnormal gays supporting our trans community and love MR.
It was also Carlina Rivera. Is that what you're talking? There was Carlina Rivera in that primary.
But Mondaire Jones ran in that race too.
Yes, I'm pretty positive.
Okay.
I didn't know Goldman, in addition to being a supporter of Israel's genocide and settler projects, I don't know if he'd say that, but I will say it, a former prosecutor and heir to the Levi Strauss fortune. So
yes.
Good Democrats we're getting. Love this middle-class shit we got going on.
Yeah, it sucks. What was that, 2018?
So in this 2022 primary, it was very diffuse because there were like 12 candidates, and Mondaire got about 18% of the vote, which then Yulin Yu was in second with around 24, and then Goldman with around 26.
Okay, so I'll be writing in Hind Rajab for Dan Goldman, and if that's your representative, you can do the same.
Wow, Shayna, that's wild. I actually saw a lot of hair signs this year, which is crazy because it's been all Trump, but someone spray painted all over the hair signs lately, emotional Trump supporters. Oof. What's your opinion on cashew nuts? Ah, I see your reference. Yeah, Emma Vigeland loves cashew nuts. I see what you did there. Emma loves cashews. By the way, I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if that was on purpose, but Emma Vigeland does love cashews. I was lurking because I was driving to work. Have a good rest of your stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping by. No, I'm just eating some cashews. Really? That is the most coincidental thing. I honestly, legitimately thought you made that comment because it's a reference to Emma, who's the host of that show. She happens to like cashews, and she would always eat cashews before they came back from break. But that's a pretty funny coincidence. I suppose I'll answer that. Cashews are actually pretty freaking good. I like cashews. But I seriously thought it was a reference to that. I haven't love him. Trump says he shouldn't have left the White House, doesn't mind reporters being shot at rally. Former President Trump said he shouldn't have left the White House in 2020 during a wide-ranging speech in Pennsylvania on Sunday, which he also escalated violent rhetoric towards the news media. Quote, "We had the safest border in the history of our country the day I left." And Trump told supporters through his more than 90-minute speech, citing his endorsement from a major border patrol union. But I shouldn't have left because we did so well. Trump lost the 2020 election to President Biden by 74 electoral votes in the Electoral College. The Republican presidential nominee has long raised claims of voter fraud impacting the race, allegations which have all been rejected by courts across the country. Trump also faces federal criminal charges and state-level charges in Georgia over his alleged efforts to overturn the election. It was a effing pandemic. Yep. Conspiracy theory. The shooter was trying to kill that one rally goer at the rally, not him. Nah, I doubt it. No. During his rally in Pennsylvania, Trump repeated unfounded claims about voter fraud and questioned common voting processes, including mail-in and early voting. They're fighting so hard to steal this damn thing, Trump said without evidence. They're talking about extending the hours. Who ever heard of this stuff? Yeah, it's kind of like par for the course, right? If you have a lot of people voting. And so what if they extend the time for voting? Who cares? A judge in Pennsylvania last week extended the deadline for voters in Bucks County to request mail-in ballots. The ruling was in response to a Trump campaign lawsuit alleging that long lines have prevented some former president supporters from getting their ballot. Like, that's so freaking hilarious. Wait a minute. He's complaining about a rule that that actually would benefit him, that was being fought for his benefit, because they were claiming that Trump supporters weren't having enough time to get to the ballot, and he's saying that extending the time is, quote, stealing. Yeah, stealing is just how he describes losing. Exactly. Yeah, more people voting is good. Right, but like, the Trump campaign wanted this. If you're finding that long lines are preventing are preventing people from voting, obviously you extend the time. So whatever, it doesn't make any sense because it's not designed to make any sense. Election officials in some other counties across the country have proposed adding additional early morning voting hours to stem long voting lines. The former president, during his Sunday speech, also ramped up rhetoric against journalists. Trump pointed towards the protective glass around him and said a potential assassin would need to shoot through the news media to hit him. To get to me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that much. I don't mind it. What's your prediction? I think Kamala wins in a landslide. I don't know about a landslide. I mean, a couple of folks here said the same thing. But I think if she wins, it'll be close. It's going to be, in my opinion, I could be wrong. You know, I could end up, I could end up with egg on my face, and I'm fine with that. But I believe that the election is going to be close, but she's probably going to win. Nothing is really pointing to a landslide, but she'll probably win. Yeah, it's sort of kind of like where I've conclusion I've arrived at. Trump is displaying narcissistic rage as megalomania is threatened by losing again. Trump's campaign spokesperson Stephen Chung said the president's comment weren't about the press, but instead his own personal safety in light of 2 assassination attempts against him earlier. Yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I kind of posted this here. Like, oh, he didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean it like that. And if he did mean it like that, then, well, others have said worse, and I'm not worried about a mean president, you stupid liberal. Like, this is exactly the same freaking logic.
Really over here is the
landslide is a geographical disaster. Landslide is what I do after Taco Bell. I recommend no.
And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right?
Is the fake news.
And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, because I don't mind. And I have this piece of glass here.
Real news is what, Mr. Trump? Real news is whatever is favorable to him. The president's statement about protective glass placement has nothing to do with the media being harmed or anything else. It was about threats against him that were spurred on by dangerous rhetoric from Democrats. Yeah, whatever, dude. We all heard it. We all heard the freaking clip, right? Like, he basically said he didn't mind if somebody would try to shoot at him again. He'd be behind protective glass and they would have to shoot through the media, which he wouldn't mind anyways. The point being is that he was talking about the media, and he was fantasizing about a hypothetical situation where if somebody did try to assassinate him, they would have to shoot through the fake news media, which he would then be okay with. That's what he was talking about. We all heard him. So, you know, don't be gaslit, okay? Like, don't be gaslit. Whatever supports his false reality, that supports his megalomania. Right now it's talk and jokes, but if he is elected, it will be action. I certainly suspect that he will try. I blame his parents. You're no Jesus, you're no effing Elvis. Trump's comments come as both presidential campaigns have received criticism in recent days for heightened and at times violent political rhetoric. Last week, Trump suggested that rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney, who endorsed Harris and become one of the former president's most vocal GOP critics. Biden earlier received blowback for appearing... so this is pretty freaking gross. No, man, this is not the same, okay? Both presidential campaigns have not engaged in the same level of violent political rhetoric, okay? Give me a freaking break. Who wrote this? Where's the author on the... Shame on you, Mrs. Waddick. Oh, it's from a song? I am a little nervous that another Cheney will be in the cabinet. That'll be extremely freaking disappointing. I mean, like, leave it to Democrats to do something like that, but, like, that will be pretty upsetting if that ends up being the case. Last week, Trump suggested that rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney, who has endorsed Harris and become one of the president's most vocal GOP critics. Biden earlier that week received blowback for appearing to call Trump supporters garbage, so he said he was referring to the racist comments. Whatever, dude. Those two are not the same. It's kind of been stated. I really hope she doesn't do that. Like, if she wins, I really hope so. Because, I mean, like, I know she's talked about... I know she said something to the... Yeah, that's where I was going at, exactly. Exactly. I know that she stated that she'll have, like, Republicans in the cabinet, or she'll sit at the table with Republicans, yeah. Which is pretty absurd. That's the only one she is close to? Man, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong, seriously. Well said specifically they will not be engaging in any Cheney foreign policy. I hope so. So the TLDR, the point of me bringing this up is, Trump suggesting that he should have never left in 2020. Like, that's kind of a window. It's kind of a window into, like, how this guy's going to take the election if he loses. So yeah, we'll have to see. Watching all the right-wing pundits do a group dive to draw a foul over the garbage thing is almost funny. Man, the pearl clutching was amazing. Yeah, I believe it. Fubumaki. He's planning to stay in the office, in office forever if he's elected. I'm sure he would like to, and I'm sure he can try. I think the deal may have been done. I mean, probably if that ends up being the case, like this kind of stuff is like already been long decided. Before inauguration. So, like, if that ends up being the case, yeah, you would be right. Like, all these deals and talks behind the scenes, they have already happened, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's take a little hopium, folks, before we go. Election 2024 live updates. Early voting totals reach new high, and I think somebody pointed this out. I want to say Undone may have alluded to this. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are making their final campaign push as one of the historically significant elections will come to an end in a matter of hours. Donald Trump has held 4 rallies. Although I think that's pretty much it. Harris in Pennsylvania, early voting numbers, about 77 million Americans have already voted. North Carolina is seeing record turnout, surpassing its early voting record in 2020. So I think, there is something. To what Undone was saying earlier. It's been a powerful endorsement. This is the most historical election, in my opinion. This is some of the heat mapping stuff that really makes me think that the decisive Harris victory might be the correct prediction. People are really excited to get out and vote. Yeah, I mean, it could be the case. Maybe I'm the one that's underestimating just how much turnout there is going to end up being. But I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be severely underestimating what's actually happening on the ground. That could end up being the case. So I brought this up because again, I believe it was Undone who made the comment that about how many people have voted early. So maybe the turnout from women voters is going to be the highest in history. Maybe. Lunar Echoes, welcome and thank you for the follow. North Carolina will split the ticket. Trump and not Robinson. That tracks. Hello or salam. Welcome. Howdy. Still busting out the booze and chocolate. Yeah, indeed. And here's my kind of point. This is the last, basically like the last poll with regards to swing states. These are one of the last polls that are being done. The last one for this polling, anyways, for this election. And this is what we're looking at. Look at this. 50 to 48. It's a 2-point. This is Arizona. Georgia, Trump 50 to 49. That's a 1-point difference. That's either way. The same thing here in Michigan, 50-48. That's either way. 48-48 Nevada. These are all the swing states, I believe. North Carolina 49 to 48. 49 to 48 Pennsylvania. 49-49 Wisconsin. So yeah, I mean it's pretty freaking close, like on the papers, right? Do you have a presidential prediction? Sorry if I may have asked this before. No, it's all good. I think that welcome, Mashina. I think that I think that the election is going to be close, and the edge is going to go to Vice President Harris. I think she's going to end up winning. I am confident that Kamala will win. What I'm really concerned about is the down-ticket senators and representatives. Maybe. I suspect I suspect that you know what, I'll say I think the Dems might actually keep the House, and I don't know about the Senate. The Senate looks kind of sketch. Thick and swollen, she's not gonna win. She may not, but I'll give her the edge. It's nonetheless, to me, it seems like it's gonna be a close election, but I think she'll win. I live in Florida. It felt pretty good voting this year. There's a lot of POC and ladies present. I know it's anecdotal, but it felt good. I think she lost. The Dems are losing the House and Senate. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like that. I don't know if it's going to be a trifecta like that. Ex-officer found guilty in 2020 shooting death of Andre Hill. A former police officer was convicted of murder on Monday in the shooting of Andre Hill, a black man who was holding a cell phone and keys when he was killed. Officer Adam Coy, who served nearly 20 years with the Columbus Police Force, shot Hill 4 times in a garage nearly 4 years ago. Coy, who's white, was fired after the shooting. He told jurors that he thought Hill was holding a silver revolver, which turned out to be freaking keys. Of course. If that's true, then the people have spoken and they want fascism. A good percentage of them do, SV Harkin. A disturbing percentage do. That's the problem. That's the rub, right? A disturbing amount would be, even if they don't conceptualize that it is fascism, they still choose it. They still choose it. I mean, we went over that video of that poll where 47% of Americans were completely fine with militarized camps to put immigrants in. So yeah, I think a disturbing amount of the population would vote for it. Vast majority of them do not know what fascism is. They just have authoritarian, low empathy personality. Right, like I don't know if they know that it's fascism, but they'll vote for it. I'm sorry I'm not a progressive left, but Dems and liberals are deluded. If they think that she ran a good campaign, I think it will be a complete blowout. I think the white women and young men she is trying to win on election day will vote for Trump. I don't think so. I think that I agree that there's problems with her campaign, mainly because she didn't have enough, like there wasn't enough time really, to be quite frank, to make a good campaign. But I don't know if it's a complete failure. Yeah, look up the 1619 Project. Why police? Why is the police so violent in America? Yeah. What's the message for Donald Trump? What do you want him to do if he wins? Not enough time with the waltz off leash. He's been the shining star of this election season for me. Anyways, let me get through this article here. Officer Adam Coy served nearly 20 years with the Columbus Police Force, shot Hill 4 times in the garage. Coy, who's white, was fired after shooting. He told jurors that he thought Hill was holding a silver revolver that turned out to be keys. Man, classic police interaction, right? Coy, who was partially blocked from his grim view from his grim-faced attorneys, did not visibly react to the verdict, but muffled cries could be heard in the courtroom when it was announced. Prosecutors asked the former officer to be sentenced immediately. Franklin County Judge Stephen McIntosh set the sentencing to November 25th. Coy, who's undergoing cancer treatments for Hodgkin lymphoma, was devastated, said his defense attorney Mark Collins slightly shook his head no when the verdict was read, and hours promised to appeal. Yeah, whatever, loser. Like, you killed somebody, dude. You killed somebody. And in one of the rare And in one of the rare cases, there's actually some sort of justice here. So no, spare me the crocodile tears, officer. People think a lot of women are abortion one issue voters, but I honestly don't think so. They aren't. We're going to see, but I think it's going to be a complete blowout. I say landslide, mark my words, and pin that. I mean, we've got a couple of people who think it's going to be a landslide for Harris, and we'll see. I wish we had a more progressive candidate, so I'm not jumping up or down or anything. Anyways, yeah, it's more like it's more like well, I know this is kind of a sad. I know this is kind of a sad way of putting it. But it's more like we didn't lose. We as a country didn't lose as hard. Harris may not be the most progressive, but I mean, like, the way I see it, like, I just want fascism to lose. Does that make sense? I don't want Trump to win, but Dems run a dog shit election. They're going to lose. That's just how it is. It's possible. I'm not saying it can't happen. We might, wake up. We might wake up a couple days from now, and we might wake up a couple days from now and end up, taking that out. I don't know. Personally, from what I see, I think it's going to be a close race favoring Harris. The racists need to just shut the F up. Yep. I effing hate Trump and his supporters. I'm going to lose my mind when Trump supporters are going to be loud and proud. I'm pretty old, and the Biden administration has been the most progressive in my lifetime. I think Harris indicating she'll be at least as progressive. Police, the only thing I ask is more help to my Ukraine. We need weapons and soldiers. Police body cam footage. Yeah, I'm sure Heat will get on that right now. Police body camera footage showed Hill coming out of the garage of a friend's house holding up a cell phone in his left hand, his right hand not visible, seconds before he was fatally shot by Coy. Almost 10 minutes passed before officers on scene began to aid Hill, who was laid bleeding on the garage floor. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. He was bleeding out for 10 minutes. Like, come on. Weeks after the December 2020 shooting, the mayor forced out the police chief after a series of fatal shootings. Of black men and children. Columbus later reached a $10 million settlement with Hill's family, the largest in the city history. The Columbus City Council also passed Andre's Law, which required police officers to render immediate medical attention to an injured suspect. Like, that's crazy that they actually had to pass a law. That they had to actually pass a law to force officers to render aid. It is pretty sick. I want to have a dumb Nazi than a self-aware Nazi. I don't want to have either. But, Give me 1 second, folks. One more day indeed. We have Vance for 40 years. Please, I don't want... No, please, please, no, no, no. I got a meme for that. Give me a second. Yeah, this is when you say we have Vance for 40 years. This is
No, 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 don't say that.
yeah. That's exactly what comes to mind. You must do the Vance dance every morning before Labor time. All right, focus chat. I got this one article left to finish. Prosecutor said Hill, 47. All the cats could be traded for real children. Followed the officer's command was never a threat to Coy, who now faces 15 years in prison. The jury also found him guilty of reckless homicide and felonious assault. We're taught, do what the cops tell you to do and we can survive that encounter, Franklin County Assistant Prosecutor Andy Pearson said during closing arguments. That's not what happened here. Shauna Barnett, one of Hill's sisters, hoped the jury's decision would send a message that violence from police won't be tolerated. It's been way too long, but I'm glad it's over. It's time to stop. It's time to make everything fair. Brian Steele, president of the police union in Columbus, said he was shocked by the murder conviction and said it would cause ripple effects for officers in Ohio and beyond. Good. Good. Like, what do you mean? Like, your split-second decisions will now can now be led to murder. It's absolutely insane. No, what's absolutely insane is that police are allowed. You expect police to act with impunity, without impunity, and you think that they're being punished for making split-second decisions? Yeah, man. If you shoot somebody and they're unarmed, that's murder, man. Maybe if you shoot someone who you shouldn't, you go to jail. Right, like, oh, but now this can be led to murder. Yeah, that's kind of like the point, right? Officers are willing to die for their community and they're willing to die for their job. They do not want to go to prison for this job. No, murder is not included in an officer's job description, right? Because, like, if that's what you're saying, then what I'm to take from this is that you believe killing people is part of a job, is part of the police's job. The officer attorney argued that Hill's lack of a weapon did not matter because Coy thought his life was in danger. He wasn't reckless, he was reasonable. Whatever. Yeah, get out of jail free cards aren't real. Apparently, this guy thinks that if you're a police, they should be. Police officers should automatically be given a get out of free from murder card. It comes with every badge. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who was represented Hill's family, said the verdict showed no one is above the law and sent a message that accountability in law enforcement is not optional. Andre was unarmed, innocent, and was an unarmed, innocent man, and his life was taken with disregard for the duty to protect and serve. Corey has gone to the neighborhood to investigate a complaint about somebody inside a running vehicle, and when he first encountered Hill sitting in his SUV, Hill told Coy he was waiting on a friend to come outside. The officer said he thought Hill seemed dismissive and then suspicious after Hill walked to the house and knocked before entering the garage. Coy said he lost sight of Hill and suspected he might try to break into the house. Coy used a flashlight to spot Hill in the garage and told him to come out. Police have such a hard job for xenophobes. When Hill walked towards him, Coy said he could not see the man's right hand, and when he thought he saw a revolver, he yelled, gun, gun, and fired at Hill. Yeah, BS, man. I'm gonna call bull on this one. I'm pretty sure that this is what, like, dude is trained to say anyways. I'm pretty sure that this is the type of stuff, like, it would track so much, it would track pretty well if this is the kind of stuff that, like, they're trained, right? Like, to immediately yell gun, right? Like, I guess for the body cam, for the body cam footage. Yeah. Not familiar with this case, but I point out that it's actually illegal to have firearms in the U.S., so even if the victim was holding a handgun, it wouldn't have been justified, as if turns out you can't actually threaten an officer's life with a set of keys, so there couldn't have been justification. Right. Frankly, there was none, right? Like, he didn't have a gun. There was no way, like, there's no danger to this guy's life whatsoever. He decided to insert himself in the situation and shoot this guy for absolutely really no reason. Family and friends of Hill, a father and grandfather, was devoted to his family and was a skilled tradesman who dreamed one day of owning his own restaurant after years of work as a chef and restaurant manager. Quite a lengthy history of complaints from residents, with more than 36 filed against him since he joined the department. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously? Since 2002? A dozen of the complaints were use of force, but all are unfounded or not substantiated, which is par for the course when, like, the cops investigate themselves, right? Right, it was revenge because the victim didn't show the proper respect, right? Because he didn't have to. He was at his friend's house, right? Like, he was out at his friend's house, and this bully, who has gone on since 2002. With this type of behavior, it's only a matter of time before this outcome was inevitable, right? That cop had no business treating him like that, and when he clearly said, "Hey, I'm at a friend's house," like, unless you can articulate, like, how I'm being a criminal, then, like, take a hike. Apparently that's enough for a death sentence. Cops don't care. No, they don't. The cops should have waited to see what was happening before he went in to cause trouble. Right, like, exactly. He should have minded his own business, and unless he could visibly see that this is the person they were looking for, like, he had no right. I'm a criminal because I would smuggle drugs internationally, but don't tell the cops. There was no criminal. I would bet people needs to stop calling the cops. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'm an exception, but even as a leftist, I don't have a massively unfavorable view of the cops today. I don't understand why. But I don't understand why some hate them. I understand why some hate them, but not all. I think cops are good to keep law and order. People call me a tanky for that. Well, the thing is, like, they don't really stop crime. Not really. And the way the institution, the policing as an institution operates is just like, it's just pretty disgusting. Peace. I'll be back later to gloat when Kamala wins. Harris 2024. Well, the defund the police movement wasn't to get rid of the whole force, but to retrain and reallocate money for better resources. Right. I mean, like, the whole point, in my opinion, is to kind of remake the institution that we know as the police, because, like, the way it's now, it just has to be like, it just has to be complete. Ooh, I almost knocked my my headphone holder. It just needs to be completely redesigned from the ground up, because, like, it's rotten to the core right now. MLB man, thank you for the follow. I'll not clue when she loses. Harris is gonna win, possibly. My bet, my bet is that she will. My bet is that she will win. Idaho and diverse police aren't some area. Like, some departments have 90% white and 50% white states. Like, what? Really makes you wonder, right? Really makes you wonder if there's maybe not some problem. If it makes you wonder if there may or may not be a problem with that institution. But just a thought, huh? Just a thought. All right, folks. I gotta get out of here. Folks. Yeah, it's a quick one. And we still almost made it to 7 o'clock. Cognizant, welcome. And none tomorrow, right? Most likely not. If I do a stream tomorrow, it'll be an actual short stream. Like, I might not even have the fancy setup. I'll just, like, prop up my phone and my microphone and hang out with you guys for like an hour, and call it if I can manage it. Like, I'm not gonna do like a full on stream. Yeah, the super fancy setup that I have here. No, I'll just pop up my phone and my mic and we're good to go. Tomorrow's the opening ceremonies to US in Chaos. I actually think that bicycle cops are a decent example of a route that you can take with policing to try to separate disparate tasks. We've put policing and control of bicycle cops, not always cops on bikes, will take care of 75% of policing tasks. Well, I mean, I would say that the concept of delegating different duties that police have to actual proper agencies that would handle it, then yeah. You got room for 15? Are you streaming? Oh wait, you're you're talking to Cognizant. Yeah. You got room for all of us there, Cognizant? Right, like social services, correct. Depends. Do you like sleeping on top of each other? To escape fascism? To escape fascism? Yeah. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Tomorrow the stream is tentative. I'm leaning towards maybe. I'm leaning towards maybe. I'll just prop up my phone and hang out with you guys for a little bit, because election coverage will probably start in the evening anyways. So I'll just do like a quick stream with my phone, maybe just to chat with you guys, and go over any particular headlines that catch my eye. But in any case, join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord because that's where all the updates are going to happen. If you want to keep up with what's happening on the election in the next couple of days, join the Discord. I'm going to be posting updates on the election. Since I'm not going to be live streaming, there's not going to be like a live react to the election. But if you want to know what's going on, you can hang out in the Discord. I'll pop in and post updates, and we'll announce the winner. And there's an election, indeed. So join the Discord, folks, and hang out. Feel free to hang out there. This Saturday, also join us for a movie event as well. You can again check out the Discord for that. If there is no stream on the Discord, I will just post there. I'll post if there's no stream on Twitch. I will post it on the Discord. In any case, thank you guys for your support. Thank you to all the new follows. I appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you. Folks, if you enjoy the content, spread the word far and wide. We're here usually Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And consider hitting that follow button. If you're on the YouTube, keep liking the stream and hit that subscribe button. We're at 257. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. On the Twitch side, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. A couple of things, folks. If you want to support the channel, consider checking out the merch store. Hitting exclamation mark tip if you want to tip your streamer. And check out the Substack, folks. Check out the Substack. I'm gonna work on that command to make it a thing. Don't worry. I'll post that command probably later tonight. But consider subscribing on the Substack and sharing it. There's going to be an article every week. The articles will come out on Fridays or Saturdays, so consider checking that out. Who are you kidding? The winner will be announced on Friday. It may be a couple days. So definitely, I'll keep you guys posted. That'll be my version of election coverage. So stay tuned, folks. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I'll be on. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for stopping by. As always, folks, take care and see ya. He's gonna live stream it till it comes in. Exactly. The channel's just gonna be permanently on live until the announcement is made. Hey, hang tight. Better than permanently on red. Appreciate it. Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.